As you can see in this example, we have a page object model with all the elements and all the methods that we need, but also we have a kind of logging step definition file with all the code that we needed in order to run our Gherkin, which is in the logging.feature file, right? Hey masters, welcome back to another video about Cypress.io. Today we are gonna be integrating the Cucumber tool to our test automation framework with Cypress. Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain you how you can translate your your scripts from normal syntax of Cypress to Gherkin, right? And then we can play around with step definitions, and also, if it is possible, at the end of the video I'm gonna try to explain you how you can use the page object model for this particular scenarios. Okay, so it is important to mention that Cucumber could be useful when you're working on the behavior driven development process, because it is just a tool that supports that process itself, right? So it is important to mention that Cucumber, what actually does is kind of read and understand executable specification, right? Reading in plain text, and which actually validates that the software does what those specifications say. Okay, it is important to mention that Cucumber reads a Gherkin kind of syntax, right? This Gherkin syntax has a lot of things to learn, right? I highly recommend you to come here to the Gherkin reference part and read more about all the stuff that we have here, because we can set features, rules, example, the steps, its definitions itself, right? We have background, we have a scenario, and also we have like other things like secondary keywords like data tables, tags, comments, docstrings, and so on. But that's basically what Gherkin does. For example, in this case we have a feature here, and in plain English, right, we have an scenario, and we have also what we're gonna happen here. When the marker starts a game, then the marker waits for a breaker to join. If you think about this, you can wonder how Cucumber reads these kind of specifications, right? Well, we have something called step definitions, which are basically the main way to connect the Gherkin steps to a programming code, and every single step definition carries out an action that should be performed by the step. Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain you like this. If, for example, if you check from the last example, here we have a kind of when statement, right? And we're gonna be using this statement, and as you can see, it is gonna be a function, and here you just have to send the parameter that you want, and then you can make an kind of action to that particular step definition. I know it is kind of tricky, but I'll try to explain you step by step how you can do a basic example, but I think that it is gonna be valuable. Okay, so let's go ahead and start a project in Visual Studio Code. Now I have here a folder. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cancel this process, and as you can see, I have an empty project here, and I'm gonna start writing down npm init. Okay, so we're gonna be creating a project from scratch. The package name is gonna be Cypress Cucumber version 1, description test. Okay, the entry point is gonna be an index.js, and the test command is gonna be runner. The Git repository I don't have right now for this video, but I'll upload this project to GitHub probably. If you want to access that particular repository, you can join this channel and support it if you want, and you will have full access to that particular repo. Okay, so I'm gonna also write down some keywords like Cypress Cucumber. Okay, and the author, it's me, JoanMedia, and the license is gonna be the standard one. Yeah, it is okay. And now we have a package.json here with all the information that we have defined through the CLI, right? Once that we have done this, the next step is gonna be install Cypress. Okay, if you remember from the first video of this channel, we run this command, which was, let me remember, it was npm, sorry, it has to be in the terminal, npm install Cypress, and we're gonna save this as dev dependency. Okay, so it is gonna be installing Cypress right away. We have to wait for a few seconds, but I think that is gonna be fast or I hope so. All right, let's wait for a few seconds until it is done. You can see that now we have a node modules here with all the dependencies that we need in order to well, execute Cypress. And well, the next step here is gonna be executing Cypress, coming here and well, running Cypress open. So I just have to come here and then come to the terminal, npm run, and well, run the script that has Cypress open itself. In this case, I think there is something wrong. Let me save the package.json maybe, and now it is. Now we're opening Cypress. Well, since it is the first time that we're opening it, probably it is gonna take a few seconds, but let's take a look of what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be using, as always, the source demo page, and I'm gonna have two different scenarios. We're gonna have a scenario that will have the full actually, and well, when you log in correctly, right, we're gonna have that scenario, and then we're gonna have another scenario to make sure that, for example, when you enter with the logged out user, well, you have a kind of error message here, and we're gonna try to translate this to BDD syntax, like in user story, right? And we're gonna try to do that right away. Now that I have Cypress open, you're gonna see that I have already automatically generated a Cypress folder with all the structures, the structure that we needed. So I'm gonna delete the folders here. I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna delete the another one, and I'm gonna create a folder here, which is gonna be a normal script. Okay, we're gonna review in well, in simple terms, how was a logging test in Cypress. Okay, I'm gonna create a spec.js here. I'm gonna create a describe. Okay, and here we're gonna be calling this login test. We're gonna define a function to return the rest of the its, right? And then, well, I can start, or I can continue working with its. I'm gonna check a success login, and well, if you remember correctly, we're gonna do this pretty in a few seconds. If you like the idea, I'm gonna declare a base URL here because I want to have just one URL through for all the project. Okay, so I'm gonna copy my URL over here, right? And now I have access for this base URL, since I have defined this in the cypress.json. We saw this in the last video. If you want to remember and try something else, some other configurations in this cypress.json. And now I'm gonna be doing a site visit. Okay, I'm gonna be opening the source demo page with this path, right? It is important that I don't need this. There it is. Then the next step that I want to do is, well, kind of locate the username locator, right? It is gonna be, for example, username by ID. Okay, so I just have to come here, do a scikit, and look for the username over here. Then I have to type something, right? Because I need to enter the well, the username that I need, which in this case is a standard user. Then I'm gonna, well, continue working with the password. I'm gonna have to look. I'm going to look for the password input ID, which in this case is gonna be password. There it is. So I'm gonna look for the password here. I'm gonna type the correct password. Okay, which was a secret sauce, right? And then I'm gonna be clicking on the login button. So I'm gonna have to look for this input, and well, I'm gonna look it by the ID too. Okay, so I'm gonna do a scikit, and it has to have the well, ID symbol at the beginning, and then we have to do a click over here. Then I'm gonna execute this to make sure that it is working. You can see that now. Well, we have a security error, and I have the solution for this. Let me check my notes. Yeah, it was something in the cypress.json, right? It is about the Chrome security. Well, let me check if I remember, because I didn't I don't have that note here, but it was like Chrome security. Let me just Google it. Security Cypress. There it is. I need that. Let me see what was the value itself. Sorry for that, cause well, I don't remember the command. Chrome secure. This is the command that I need. Yeah. Chrome security false. I think this is the one that I need. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, that's what I need. Chrome web security false, and now if I execute my test again, probably I'm gonna be capable to, well, do my stuff, right? And as you can see, well, my username and password works correctly, and well, the next step that I have to do is, for example, check something to make sure that the user was successfully logged in. And I think that you can see that if you are in the home page, well, we just have the URL here, but I don't have any subdirectory. However, when I log in, I am inside of the inventory.html part, so I can do an assertion, to make sure that we are inside of the correct URL after the login. And I think that we can do something like URL, okay, and here we can do something like should, and contains, and well, we can look for the slash inventory.html, inventory.html, and I need this slash at the beginning to make sure that it is as expected. So, and as you can see, I have refreshed the execution, and we're making the assertion to make sure that we have this directory at the end of the URL, right? That's cool and good. Now I think that we can translate this to Gherkin, and I'm trying to install Cucumber in this project. All right, so I'm gonna cancel my test runner, and let me see. Well, we have to look at the official documentation, so I'm gonna be installing the Cypress Cucumber preprocessor. So I just have to come here, install it as a dev dependency. You're gonna see that now we have Cypress, but in a few seconds we're gonna have another one named Cypress Cucumber preprocessor. Okay, right now what it is happening is that we are installing the dependencies in the node modules folder here, right? And that's good. Let's wait for a few seconds just to make sure that it is installed. We can all take a look of the another steps that we have to do. For example, we have to add the plugins or something in the plugins index file. So I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna come here to the plugins index, and I'm gonna add what I need. That's good. Then it says that also we have to add this to the cypress.json file, and that's correct. It is something that we need. So I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna come here to the cypress.json, and I'm gonna add this over here. What is gonna be doing this line number 4, it is that we're gonna have the test file specified at this particular folder, right? But it is gonna end with the that feature extension. All right, that's something important. Well, it has installed correctly, right? As you can see, now we have a new dev dependency. And we also have to add this to the package.json. So I'm gonna come here, and I'm gonna place a comma here and add another configuration. This is needed in order to run Cucumber, right? If you want to take a look of what it does, you can come here to the cosmic config, right? And there you're gonna have more explanation of what you can do, what you can achieve with this with this configuration. We have different options and stuff, but we can start working on the feature file. Okay, so I'm gonna come here to the integration folder and I'm gonna create a new file. It is gonna be login.feature, if I am not wrong. Let me check the official documentation. Yeah, there it is. The login.feature is that login.feature file is gonna need for the Gherkin syntax. Okay, so I'm gonna create a feature here. Okay, so we have a feature kind of name, and also we can set a description. So let's imagine that I want to name this feature login feature. Okay, and the description is that this feature is required to make sure, or to for a user to log in. Yeah, that's basically the feature description that it comes to my mind. Let me see, because I think that I'm doing something wrong. No, that it is fine. Well, the next step that we have to do is declare a scenario, right? That's the next step that we have to do. So we have to declare a scenario, and the scenario name is gonna be a success login. Okay. Then in this scenario, I'm gonna be providing, well, the syntax, the basic syntax that we have to know about this, and it is the given when then meaning or words, right? So let me just take a look of the official documentation to try to explain you what it does. Okay, so I have the given here, and as you can see, the given steps are used to describe the initial context of the system. The scene of the scenario, it is typically something that happens in the past. Okay, so I'm gonna use something here which is gonna be given. We given a user opens the login page. I don't know. I'm just doing a demo here, right? You have to adjust this to a real scenarios when you are working on the BDD approach, right? When a user opens the login page, right, then we have to look for the next keyword, which is when, and when steps are used to describe an event or an action, right? That's the main kind of meaning of this particular step. So when the user, or when a user enter the username, right, and we can send here a string, which is gonna be, for example, well, the correct username that we need in order to log in my system, right, which is a standard user, right? And then I also want to do something else, another action. Well, you can use, for example, the keyword and, okay, and a user enter the password, right? And then you can use, or actually you have to enter the password that you need here, right? And then I do need to add another and to perform a user clicks on the login button, right? Because we need it in order to, well, click here and make sure that it works or not. And then, well, we have to use the next keyword, which is going to be, let me show you that, then. And the then steps are used to describe an expected outcome or result. Okay, that's important. So you can come here and say in plain English, I'm sorry, that the user must be, or a user can or will be logged in, right? For example, I'm not sure if that is the correct syntax or English actually, but you understand the idea, right? We are writing down plain English, and with this syntax, you have like user acceptance criteria, and you have plain English and actually documentation for your test, right? So now we're gonna try to translate this to program, right? To programming languages. And in this case, we're gonna be using JavaScript. If you come here to the Cucumber documentation, I think that you can see that here we should be capable to choose between different languages, right? Let me see. This is not the thing that I want to see. Let me see if I have a guides here. Let's see if in the tutorial part, yeah, there it is. You can translate your Gherkin step definitions in Java language, for example, in JavaScript, Ruby, and also in Kotlin. That's cool. And well, in this case, we're gonna be using JavaScript. So let's go ahead and try to do this. So if I come here to the official documentation about the Cucumber library, you can see that that's based here. We have what we have to do. Let me check. we have to import the different step definitions, but I need to check the correct way to do it. Just let me wait, or actually wait me for a few seconds. Yeah, that's what I need to do. I'm gonna import right from okay, I'm missing something. I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna close up all my tabs here because it is going well, but I have to create another integration folder here named with the login. No, I have to create a folder with the same name of the feature file over here. Okay, so I'm gonna create here a login folder. That's important. A folder, not a file. A new folder, the login folder, right? And then I'm gonna create here a JS file with the name itself again, the login.js file. If I am not wrong, okay? Let's see if it works. I'm gonna copy the import, but it is also important that I need the given, the when, and also then, right? Now we have all the different step definitions that we need from the Cypress Cucumber preprocessor steps, okay? And then we can start using it. If I am not wrong, I hope that I am not. So I have to use given here, right? Or I don't need the at. Yeah, I don't need the at, I'm sorry. So I can do something like given, right? And here we can define by a string the step definition, right, itself. So for example, if I come here and I check the feature file, I can do something like a user opens the login page, okay? In this case, we don't need any parameter here, right? We just have to do something like site visit, and well, since it is also using the cypress.json file, and we have defined the base URL, we just have to, for example, use the slash here, right? And if I run this, I hope that it works. Let me see. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna open up my test runner, and if I click here, I should be capable to visit the sauce demo website. There it is. As you can see now, in the given step, a user is actually opening the login page. That's correct. And then, well, when we're doing the when step, well, it is saying that the implementation of that particular step is missed, right? So I'm gonna continue working on this because it is working fine. Then we have to declare the when step definition, right? I'm gonna copy my step itself, right? That's cool. And instead of using this particular parameter here, because I want to receive it from the feature file, what I'm gonna do is something like this. I'm gonna define here a string. I'm not sure if it is one bracket or two. I think it is just one. And then I'm gonna, well, receive a parameter here, which is gonna be the username. And then we can continue working with the function. And here, well, the action that we have to perform here is the same one that we had this in the login test, right? I'm sorry, because I closed the login feature. And it is basically a site get to the username element and send this value over here. So I can come here, I can do the same stuff, but instead of sending the data here, I can use the parameter that I'm receiving from the login feature, right? So if I execute this again, you can see that right now the website is receiving the behavior that we are sending by the code, right? That's cool. And then, well, we have to do an AND step definition. So I'm gonna come here, and for example, well, we have to do the same stuff here, but instead of user enter the password, then we need to receive the password by a string, okay? That's cool. And then we're also gonna receive a password here in order to, well, receive it from the feature file, and we have to do the same stuff that we did in the normal syntax, right? But instead of sending the secret sauce hard coded, we can, well, receive it from the feature file. Then we have to do another step definition, which is a user clicks on the login button. So I have to do another AND here. In this case, I don't need any parameter because the login button doesn't need kind of value, right? We just have to click it, and well, if you see the code here is a cyget login button, and just do a click. So if I check this, you can see that probably, well, I didn't save the login file, but we are actually signing in correctly in the website, but we are missing the another implementation, right? The then one. So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna create another function or another step definition actually, which is the then. And this then is gonna be receiving, well, a user will be logged in, right? We are not specifying how we're checking this. I am actually specifying what I need to check, right? The behavior itself. And well, we're gonna be doing something like a function here. We don't need any parameter to be clear with that. And well, the code that I need to make sure that the behavior is expected is, for example, this assertion, to make sure that we have this parameter in the URL, right? And as you can see, now we have a success login a scenario in the login feature, right? And you can see that right now in the test runner we have the given, the one, the and step definition with well, the steps that we defined, right? And then we have a user will be logged in with the assertion that we defined, and that's important, right? Because well, as you can see, now we have a kind of readable feature and scenarios. And well, if we print this in a report, well, even if a manager or a project manager is not related with the programming language or test automation itself, you have here like living documentation, right? And that's important. Let's imagine that I do want to do another scenario with a failure login. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this scenario, I'm gonna paste it, and instead of using a success login, well, now I'm gonna be doing a failed login. And instead of having a user will be login, well, we're gonna have a user will be receiving a blocked message, okay? Because we're gonna be, or a failed, well, to have a more sense, a user will be receiving a failed message. And instead of sending the standard user, we're gonna be sending something else like the logged out user, okay, by parameter, right? That's correct. We're gonna be sending the correct password. And if we do that, if you remember my other videos, I hope that you do, I'm gonna log in here, and as you can see, we're receiving this message, which is the user has been logged out. So I want to make sure that this message is displayed when you enter this particular username, right? So let's go ahead and continue with this. I'm gonna come here to the step definition. I'm gonna declare another then, but with this another step, okay? So for example, I can come here, I can do a then. A user will be receiving a failed message. I don't need any parameter here, right? That's cool. And then what I want to do here is, well, look for this particular element, which is h3 data test, right? But with h3 is fine. So I'm gonna do a cyget, and then I can do something like should have text, and you can receive the assertion message here, which is gonna be sorry, this username has been logged out. That's cool. And well, I did something wrong there, I'm sorry. Let me see what is happening. This one, there it is. Now if I run this again, you are probably will actually see that in the then step definition, a user will be receiving a failed message. It is actually checking that the h3 is having the message that I wanted. And that's how you can have different scenarios with the same step definitions, and you can reuse it. And well, as you can see, it has a lot of power inside, right, if you use it correctly. There are also another well, kind of features that you can use with Cucumber.js, or actually Cucumber with Java or other well, kind of language, which are inline tables, so you can have different parameters here, and you don't have to, well, enter a scenario by a scenario, but well, it can be reviewed in another video, right? Because it is taking a lot of time and right now, well, I don't know how many minutes I have been recording, but it is a lot. I just want to introduce you another concept, and let's imagine that you wanna have the login JS file, right? The step definitions, but abstracted in a page object model, right? Because maybe you want to have as a kind of centralized part where you want to have the methods, where you want to save your locators and stuff. And well, if you are following this channel, in the past we did a framework here, right, where we did the page object model. I'm gonna translate that particular page object to this well, project, right? I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna look for the pages source demo. There it is, and I'm gonna copy the this particular JS file. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna try to explain you pretty quick what is gonna happen. I'm gonna create a folder here, which is gonna be pages, and inside of the pages, I'm gonna create a home source page.js. Okay, this home source page is gonna be a kind of a page object where we have the elements of that particular page. For example, I have the username input, which is the same one that we created a few seconds ago, right? Also, we have the password, we have the login button, and also we have the error message. So I want to use this page object in my login.js step definition file. So what I have to do is something like, I'm gonna take a look of my code to make sure that I'm gonna doing this correctly. Integration, page object model, and what we have to do is something like there it is, constant home source page. Okay, let's do it. Constant home source page. It is gonna be requiring something, right? Require, and here we have to specify where is my JS file. In this case, is inside of the pages folder. Sorry, pages, and then we have to look for the JS file. There it is. And now, instead of, well, sending the whole, or actually specifying all of this, you can see that in my page object I have all the methods, right? Type username, type password, and click login. So we can do something like this. Home source page that what was the name? type username, and well, we have to receive the username here, right? That's correct. And well, we have to do the same stuff with the password. Home source page that type password and receive the password from the feature file, right? And then we have to change this line to home source page that click login, and instead of using this hard-coded element here, we can do something like home source page that elements error message. Yeah, there it is. And if I run this, probably it is gonna be working fine. And we are abstracting the page object from another class, right? In my step definition file. And well, we are doing a lot of stuff right now. I think that it is good enough for this video. If you want to keep learning about this, please let me know in the comment section. Please let me know also, well, letting a like and subscribing to this channel. It is important to mention that as you can see in this example, we have a page object model with all the elements and all the methods that we need, but also we have well, a kind of login step definition file with all the code that we needed in order to run our Gherkin, which is in the login.feature file, right? And as you can see, this is a readable execution, or actually a readable documentation with all the scenarios and all these specifications in plain English. And we are translating this to Cucumber with the step definitions. I hope that you enjoyed this video, guys. It was a long one, but I hope that you find it useful. Thank you very much for watching the whole video, and see you in the next one, masters. Well, bye bye.